Well, hello. Good morning. Let's talk about the horrors of something that for so long was my profession, but hairdressing is actually considered a high risk, toxic profession, like beyond belief. Actually, at the worst, when I was getting sicker, there was a point where I couldn't even go inside the hair salon because all the products, everything was just making me faint and vomit and, all sorts of things that at the beginning I was not relating to the toxicity of the stuff. Also, something really weird that happened is that I couldn't even touch people because, it's something that is not just the toxicity about the products and everything you use. It's also about how close you are to someone's head and how energetically that's going to affect us as well. Basically, it's a very toxic profession due to chronic exposure to hazardous chemicals, formaldehyde, ammonia, VOCs, and so on, linked to respiratory issues, cancer, dermatitis. So, studies indicate higher rates of depression, miscarriage, neurological diseases, Alzheimer, dementia, cancer among long term workers, often exacerbated by poor silent ventilation, intense emotional labor. So it's both things. It's emotional crashes along with a really, really, really high level of toxicity. Also, most of these chemicals are endocrine disruption things, which basically I don't know of any like hairdresser, very few at least, that do not have endometriosis, fibroids, fertility problems, all sorts of PMS and PMDD, and so on. Has been higher reported risk of bladder cancer. Studies show a stylist working with hair dye for over 5 years. So just imagine 20 or, face up to triple the risk of developing breast cancer and so on. Why? Estrogen mimicking things, basically. Endocrine disruption, which is going to be insane in this environment. Respiratory skin diseases, ammonia in hair color, and bleaching agents cause chronic irritation and can cause asthma. Many, smoothing products contain formaldehyde, a known human carcinogen that causes respiratory problems and skin irritation. Long term health effects, exposure to toxic chemicals, including heavy metals like lead, arsenic, can accumulate in the body. So, studies have found higher mortality rate in disease, Lyme disease, however you want to call it, toxicity diseases, which end up with a break immune system and just crazy stuff. On top of that, toxic work environments and culture as well. The physical strain, prolonged standing, repetitive motion, and long shifts. This is just, again, I love hairdressing, even though I lost my hair due to this disease. Thanks God I know how to make, extensions and this kind of stuff. But yeah, just beware. Nowadays there are many, many natural products that can be used. The rest of problems with the long shifts, with standing for too long, all this stuff is still gonna happen. But at least people are not gonna live these nightmares. I'm sure if anyway, but not to this extent. If I wasn't a hairdresser before, I'm sure of that. So so yeah, it's a lovely profession, but it comes with all this. And actually, in many countries, hairdressers are freelance, so they can kind of do better with their jobs and lives and just manage themselves better. But here, people just work long hours, they get paid very little, and it's hell. So, unless we change that, like in many countries, it's not something that I would ever do again. On top of that, I won't be able to. So, there you go. So yeah, toxic workplace culture. Many silent workers report catty or toxic work environments, featuring like high turnover, low wages, lack of benefits, and emotional abuse from clients, which is very common as well. Think about a PMDD woman which comes, and the first thing they're gonna do is like safety protocols. Many silence like proper ventilation. Workers might not use protective equipment, gloves, masks. I never used them. I didn't give a fuck, but it happens. Um, Reducing risk. You can increase ventilation. You can use safer products, switching to products that are paraben free, sulfate free, fragrance free, and can reduce exposure to chemicals. This is going to be really harmful for clients, but clients come, well, once a month max, twice. But we are exposed like a million times a day, over and over again in a closed environment. So imagine what that can cause, right? training, proper training on chemical handling and chemical safety. But in fact, chemicals should not be in the mix. That's the point. And also make hairdresser work, you know, they want to do their clients or not. They need resting. They need, according to needs, basically. Especially for women, and most of us are women, so therefore you're not going to cut anyone's hair good in the PMS phase. That's for granted. So yeah. So on and on. It's a really, really, really toxic. Even though it's lovely, and you can actually change a person, how they feel with themselves and many other things, which is the part I love about this job. It's incredibly risky unless the person works the hours they need to and they manage what they want to do, freelance style, and they use non-toxic stuff and so on. If that's done this way, go for it. If not, I would avoid it at all cost. Really, seriously. On top of that, there's something not talked about, which is the energetic part of this job. People come, we attack ourselves against, not against, but with with all this, we touch people's heads and all these emotions and all this crap. But we absorbed, and we are not realizing this. And then maybe you woke up in the morning, you were really happy, and then you do someone's hair, and they are really sad and crying, and later on in the afternoon basically you are this way too. You're absorbing all this energy. It's crazy, apart from the EMF from hair dryers, from all this crap as well. So the mix can be lethal. Actually, it's such a bad mix. So yeah, but the problem again can be solved, making a hairdresser freelance, making them work uh, with their bodies, and saying when they can, when they cannot, and managing their own face way that we can keep making people happy without having to give our lives and be a decade sick in hell with all this. It's incredibly dangerous. So, fellow hairdressers, do something about it. It's no joke. Um, I wish I knew better, and I knew it before all this happened to me, but I didn't. I didn't know any better. And, um, all this stuff, from shampoos, chemicals, all this is gonna be filtered by our livers. Is, everything that we breathe gets filtered by our livers. So if this crashes, then the immune system crashes eventually. You're gonna suffer from all this. And they are not different conditions, they are the same toxicity. The reason why I had such a severe case and a brutal encephalitis with, Lyme and all this, was because my level of toxicity was insane. Diets, lifestyle, everything else that was going on here. But, working far too many hours with toxic products, sometimes with toxic people as well, and ending up like losing a decade of my life and almost dying. So it's no joke. And yeah, there is so much that can be done, so we can still enjoy these jobs if you actually enjoy them, um, and make clients feel really good and still do all this, but keeping the health of the person and the client. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and yeah, take that in mind. And fellow hairdressers, please, if you're listening to this, do something about it. The rates of people with autoimmune disease and all this kind of stuff are really, really beyond high in this, hairdressing world, let's say. So yeah,